with a former WWE star facing another accusation and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report for September 4th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Prior to making his entrance for Clash at the Castle, a video package for Drew McIntyre was shown where his old Broken Dreams theme song played. Talking about the idea behind bringing this tune back, McIntyre told BT Sport, "I've been pushing it for a very long time. I didn't think they'd finally bite, but I had a conversation with Hunter and Kevin Dunn. I tried to explain that I think this is the time, with the crowd we are going to have. This is a knowledgeable crowd. They know my history. It is very much a full circle moment for me, and I feel that it is very much a part of my story. I knew it would get a pop from the live crowd. I knew people online would get a kick out of it, but for me, hearing that, it reminded me of how far I've come." With FTR nearly holding every other tag title at the moment but the AEW one, Swerve Strickland said on the Grapsody podcast that he is open to him and Keith Lee facing Dax and Cash. We'll get there in time. If anything, they need to get to us at this point. People are like, y'all need to go after them. Why? We are the champions. They need to come after the champions. I don't care what country they hold their belts in. They still got to come after us. We own the company titles. Recalling an interaction with Vince McMahon from his time in WWE, Chris Jericho told Josh Martinez how McMahon made fun of him for an embarrassing in-ring moment. "One time I was working with Cesaro in Las Vegas on a non-televised live event, a house show if you will. I was wearing braces. As I climbed the top rope to do my comeback, my brace got caught in the top rope. I literally fell into the ring. Well, that's embarrassing enough as it is, but for some reason, Vince McMahon got a clip of it. He proceeded to show it for the next 4 weeks every time everyone's in the arena going over their stuff before the show. He just thought it'd be great just to show it over and over and over again. I'm like, I'm gonna slap that stupid face of yours for showing this over and over again." He's like, "Ah ha ha, it's so funny. Maybe funny for you, not funny for me. And only 3,000 people saw it until you kept playing it over and over and over again." With Edge and Kurt Angle reuniting backstage during Raw, they would pay homage to a similar segment done years ago. On his podcast, Angle revealed this was Edge's idea. "They had a limo pick me up at my house, which was really cool to take me down there to the event. We immediately went to rehearsal. Triple H was the head of rehearsals. He was telling me what to do, how to do it, and what to say. There were also other producers. Rockstar Spud was also one of the producers. The writer was Ryan Ward, and I thought he did a great job. I haven't seen him in so long, and to see him in his new position, he's doing really well with it. It's very comfortable. He hired a big team underneath him to take care of everything that he needs taken care of. Kind of like the way Vince did it, because Vince ran everything, but he had people reporting to him. Triple H had to set up his own team that same way Vince did, who he was comfortable with. Obviously, he hired Road Dogg, part of D-Generation X. Shawn Michaels took a step up in the company, so he's got his boys there. And I think that's great because they all have great chemistry together. Seeing Edge and Ray, especially those two, guys that I was in the company with back in 2000, 2005, it was a lot of fun to reminisce about the past and what we were doing that night. I did a really cool, funny pre-tape with Edge and Rey Mysterio, where Edge got me again with the poster boards on the back that said, "You still suck." It was a lot of fun. We reenacted that from 2002, 20 years later. It was actually Edge's idea, and it was a great idea. Also on his show, Kurt Angle recalled a time where Vince McMahon would not allow him to appear in a movie. It was a blockbuster movie. It was one of the leading roles. They wanted me, and WWE said no. It was Pearl Harbor. It was the guy that was the hero that died at the end. I didn't see the movie, but I was told who it was going to be. Unfortunately, they said no, and the reason, and I totally get it, Rock just left, and Vince was putting everybody on lockdown. He wasn't going to lose another wrestler to Hollywood. So for the next several years, 5 or 6 years, nobody was allowed to do anything after Rock left. So it was very difficult to get any type of movies because WWE was controlling you, and you had to do what they told you to do. But eventually, thank God, it loosened up, and then John Cena and Edge started getting movie roles, Batista, and everything started opening up. With AEW All Out set to take place tonight, commentator for the company Jim Ross addressed a major issue with the event, saying, well, I think it's going to be unpredictable, because I don't know how you book this card. I don't know how you have a match on Wednesday and your champion gets his ass whipped like a government mule, and then you expect to return it Sunday. Why do I need a return? You just got your ass whipped. So there's logical things we have to address, quite frankly. I think it's going to be a challenging show for Tony Khan to book, but it's loaded. Sitting out there with our group as it is, this is going to be a 5-hour show. I'm not in favor of any 5-hour show. It's just too long. Our attention spans are not going to maintain what it needs to be. It's a chance for a lot of talents to clear the deck and make a name for themselves. Speaking of AEW, president of the company Tony Khan had some positive news to share while speaking on Busted Open Radio. We have a chance to hit these heights at the perfect time. I would say the success we've had has been so great. The way the business is going right now, you're the most optimistic person I know. 99% of what you say is pointing people in that direction. This is the first time there have been 2 wrestling companies that have the ability to be the #1 show that night on cable, and 2 wrestling companies that are grossing the kind of money. I'm not grossing $1 billion, but I'm gonna gross over $100 million this year. That's pretty unprecedented, and it's been over 20 years since anybody is doing that. To me, success is sustaining it. With nearly 200 members of the AEW roster, Chris Jericho addressed the perception of the company having too many stars on the Superstar Crossover podcast. Maybe the misconception is that we have too big of a roster. I mean, it's hard to get everybody on TV with only 3 hours a week, but it's important to have a big roster, and to have a lot of variety and a lot of different guys on different levels. You've got vets like myself and CM Punk. Then you've kind of got guys in their prime like Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. Then you've got the up-and-comers like Daniel Garcia, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy. It's really like a great football team where you have different levels of what you need to have a successful team. That's why our team has been so successful. While there have been rumors of Bray Wyatt making his return to WWE for some time, Sean Ross Sapp is reporting that the man has received a hefty offer from a startup wrestling company. There is a standing offer from a startup wrestling company for Bray Wyatt to join. We haven't heard if he has any interest or has accepted, but we're told that it's a serious offer, though that can mean different things to different people. It was heavily implied that it would be Freddie Prinze Jr.'s eventual wrestling company, though not explicitly stated. Upon returning to WWE, it was revealed that Prince had plans to have Cross heavily featured in his plans moving forward, but had to adjust as a result. We haven't learned if Wyatt was planned prior to that. With former WWE star Velveteen Dream making headlines recently for being arrested twice in a week, EC3 revealed a disturbing tale from his NXT days with Dream, saying, "We had a party, and it was at my place, and he came over because I'm being friendly, and I'm top guy and I tried to welcome everybody into the thing. He left his phone in my bathroom with the camera on trying to capture people taking pisses, so there. How did I know? Because it's my bathroom. When I walk in there and I see a phone selfie style propped up on filming where if somebody is going to take a pee, they would have their phallus out urinating into the water." Talking to Ariel Helwani of BT Sport, Seth Rollins, prior to Clash at the Castle, made the claim that he is the best in pro wrestling today. Of course, man, I think I'm the best wrestler on the planet, and have been for a long time. I'm really in my groove now, like really in my groove. Anytime they give me a chip on my shoulder, I've already got one, and I walked around with it all the time. Anytime they add a little bit to that, I think that is when I'm at my absolute best. Like when I feel like my back is against the wall, or when I feel like I am not the focal point, I just feel like I deliver my best content in those moments. With Jade Cargill deactivating her Twitter in July, the TBS champion would explain her action while speaking to TV Insider. "I love that people just assume the worst. Bryan Danielson and I were training. He talked about 90s babies not being able to live without social media. This was to Daniel Garcia, myself, and a couple of other people. I was born in 92. I was around when the beeper was around and landlines. I can live without social media. He went on my phone to see how many hours I'm on my phone a day. It was something ridiculous. He said he only spent an hour a day on his phone. I felt kind of embarrassed. He said, why don't you get rid of one of your social media feeds for a little bit? Let's see where your numbers go from there. He said to pick the most toxic app. I thought Twitter. I deleted it. It was funny when people said she can't handle all the negative. I can handle it. I love trash talk because I love to give it back. I'm very witty and quick with it. I took a break and got so much accomplished in that time. The only reason I went back to Twitter is that my account was about to be deactivated. I think for anybody to take a break from social media is healthy. People can talk crap because your friend may then ask, who is Jade Cargill? They're going to Google my name and notice that I'm strong, attractive, and inspirational. They're going to follow. It's a win-win battle for me. Good or bad, it's still noise and I'm still trending. A fan at Clash at the Castle last night could be seen wearing a shirt saying he's a better dad than Chris Benoit, who of course killed his wife and son before taking his life. Many online reacted to this writing. Just in case you're wondering, here he is right now, in a bar where I am, waving at me whilst I give him the middle finger, whilst he thinks he's a celebrity taking pics. Some a-hole at the Clash at the Castle event was shown on screen wearing a shirt saying, better dad than Chris Benoit. F that guy. Just spotted someone in the crowd with a better dad than Chris Benoit t-shirt with his child. Wrestling fans are the worst, aren't they? And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.